And now it's time for the Indy Art Show! The Indy Art Show! The Indy Art Show! Yay! Woohoo! Featuring the hostess with the mostest, Maria, a haunted gypsy! And also featuring undiscovered talent that's alive and looking for love and support within your very own community. We are your neighbors. Your creative neighbors. Yep, we're the ones that turned your neighborhood into a vibrant arts district, causing property values to rise. We're the ones that take your neighborhood and make it a fun and joyful place for everyone to live. So show us some love. Show us some love. Show us some love.
Oh dear. That's not very loving. I have to say, no, not so very loving at all. How do I get... Where you are? There you are. You're on camera. You are on camera.
Here I am with the seagulls.
Oh, yes. Music's a little louder now. We'll get this right at some point in time.
Or maybe this is right. It's just a different kind of right.
Yeah, I guess so. All right. So, oh dear, I gotta adjust this camera here. All right. How can I get us both on? I'm trying to get us both on. Still going back to the other one. All right. C and A. Let's see if we can get this camera situation resolved here. Ah. Oh, you did it. All right. This is great music. Hello, everyone. To our millions. Oh, my microphone's off. Hello, everyone. To our millions of viewers all over the world. Oh, the world famous Indy Art Show. Yes, world famous. Very exciting. We've been getting some real exciting guests on this show. Today I'm very excited to have a guest here who is originally from Poland, right? And then New York City, and now in the Western New York area. Awesome filmmaker, which is why she's dressed in black. As we know, the filmmakers have to dress in black. It's just what they do, you know, and then she blends right into the Indy Art Show. So basically, we'll see your face, but we won't see the rest of you because you're in black. And your black is just going to...
You can see my glasses and my shiny teeth.
Yes, and your headphones, too. So, yes. So, Olga... Olga, do you want to tell us about yourself and the Z Collective and the wonderful things that you're doing, or did you...
So I actually, it's really nice to be here, first of all. Thank you for inviting me to the show.
Oh, you're welcome.
I've been looking forward to it and have written my dissertation about everything in the world for you to listen to. So,
oh, wonderful.
Hopefully it won't be utterly boring, but I guess I'll give it a go.
Okay. So. All right. Okay. So you've written your dissertation. Okay, great. And then you want now on the show today, we talked about some things that you were wanting to cover. Did you want to talk about the Z Collective first, or were you wanting to talk about?
I actually wanted to. You know, this year has been a very interesting year. I think it's really interesting that we're into 2019. Mm-hmm. I think it's really interesting that we're in the year of the pig. I like the pig. I actually heard a very interesting comment on it, in the sense that the pig is also the wild boar.
Uh-huh.
And so that this is a year where whatever it is that you're doing, you can actually make happen because you'll just like power through it. You'll just run at the obstacle and just keep going, which I think is a really great thing. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So I'm super excited to be here in my new year. I think it's going to be an amazing new year.
Okay.
I'm also very excited because I'm finally getting back to my first love, which is filmmaking. And so that's why I was very, very saddened to hear about the passing of Jonas Mekas in New York City about 2 weeks ago. So for those of you who don't know who he is, he was a poet and a video essayist. He actually created his own kind of genre of video and filmmaking. Mm-hmm. He was an amazing human being all around, and he was very much a champion of independent cinema and video art. His most famous legacy is the Anthology Film Archives in the Lower East Side in New York, which has a program called Essential Cinema, where they show avant-garde works that they have collected and preserved, many of which would have actually been destroyed if it hadn't been for them. They also have like an extensive collection of audio recordings and photographs, all things around independent cinema and video art. So basically documentation of artists about their process, about what they made, and various other historical documents that I think are it's very important to have that kind of a thing.
Okay.
Particularly for avant-garde cinema, which is not very well received in the mainstream.
Right. Now, is this the clip that you wanted us to show?
Nope.
The first one? Okay,
Nope.
that's this other one.
Yeah.
This one.
Yeah, so let me just tell you a little bit more before, go ahead.
Oh, sorry.
So I wanted to actually just bring back the idea that he is a very, very important figure. Okay? He was called the Godfather of the American avant-garde.
So he was the Godfather. I knew it.
He was.
The Godfather.
He was the Lithuanian Godfather
A Lithuanian Godfather. All right.
of film, of avant-garde cinema in the United States. So he created, along with Maya Deren, and other filmmakers that I don't remember their names right now, the New American Cinema. That's what he called the underground film movement of the 50s and the 60s, which was an amazing, I don't know if you've ever seen any of Maya Deren's films, but they're amazing pieces of surrealist filmmaking. He also created, with his brother, a film culture magazine, which became very influential. And he had a legendary movie column in the Village Voice, where he talked about independent cinema and video art.
Okay.
He founded the Filmmakers Cooperative, which I actually still exists, and I actually borrowed film from them because they also have an archive of independent films that you could show for various things. So I borrowed a film from theirs because I was screening a film at Anthology, and it was actually a Dadaist film from the 1910s that had been, most of the copies had been destroyed by the Nazis, and this was an existing copy that was preserved. So the Film Archives is an amazing place because also there, Jonas Mekas allowed anything to screen, and to screen it in different ways, to actually enjoy cinema in ways that you would not imagine. So I once went there to see a film that was, I believe it was 8 hours long.
8 hours is a little long for a film, isn't it?
Made of found footage. It was amazing.
So what were you doing, watching him sleep every night?
No, it was actually found footage. So he had all kinds of stuff. So he had footage of experiments that were done with monkeys.
Oh.
That they took away their babies and replaced the moms with kind of like an armature wire version of the mom.
Oh, yeah.
To see what it is the monkeys responded to in terms of like the maternal bond. But what was really amazing about this film was that you could go into the theater, you bought the ticket, you could go in, and you could leave when you wanted, but you could also come back. So you could go and watch it for an hour, step away, go get a coffee, talk to some friends, and then go right back in with your ticket and continue watching it in whatever spot that it was. And I just thought it was really amazing because it was, for me, it was very inspiring in the sense that you could also watch films in ways that normally you don't. Or it's not predicated on sitting in front of a screen for a set amount of time, right? So film could be anything. Film could be the Christmas log on your TV in the background, right? And video. And I think that this is really important because I think he created a kind of space where you can have experimentation, creativity, and play. And I think these things were very important to our mental space, right? It's not just as artists, but I think as people, we need these spaces. Right? And these spaces are very fast disappearing from our society because of gentrification. Right? Yeah. As well as New York City. And he was able, through his own tenacity, his creative spirit, and his dedication to come together with other people and create the space. I think that's amazing. I also think it's amazing that it's a kind of work that's a work of a day-to-day work. It's not some epic, right? He just kind of kept plugging away at it, kept doing his works, kept doing his video essays. He created this new genre, right, called video essay, where he would basically document everyday life with his own comments. It wasn't necessarily narrative, but it has a poetry to it. It has a narrative. And so I'd like to show one of them.
All right, let's show it. So this is a film by
Jonas Mekas.
Jonas Mekas. Okay.
It's out of his 365-day video project,
Okay.
where he would shoot one video a day.
Okay. All right. Great. Well, let's check this out. Let's check out this out right now.
Dedicated to Petrarca, is dedicated to Petrarca, from Florence. He made a list, Petrarca. He made a list of 60 most beautiful women of Florence. And he put the name of the woman he loved among the 60. The 60 most beautiful women of Florence. And then he was exiled. It's to Petrarca, who went over the hills of Provence. To Petrarca, who went over the hills of Provence. He walked over the hills of Provence, thinking of his love. To Petrarca, who walked over the hills of Provence. To Petrarca. And he wrote 365 poems. 365 poems to his love. He wrote 365 poems, one for each day of the year. Petrarca, to Petrarca.
Was that it?
That was it.
Wow. All right. What was he saying? Petrarca?
So Petrarca is a poet
Okay.
who wrote 365 poems.
Oh,
so one
okay.
poem a day, and that's what he's doing.
All
He's
right.
dedicating the project, and the
Oh.
project is one video a day.
Okay.
For 365 days. As you saw, it was very lovely. I love the very last shot where it's everybody in front of the Anthology Film Archives just kind of fooling around, jumping up and down and being joyous in what they're doing, right? So, and what I like about the video is, if you notice, it goes from like morning glories to him in the in Zebulon, which is a club in New York City, at which I played to, which I also love because I know the place, so I have a sense of it where others might not. And then it goes into the actual people playing around at Anthology. And I think it's really beautiful because it just shows you that creativity and video, it can be anything. You yourself, it's kind of an expression of who you are. The idea of one video every day is also, maybe it's an expression of your mood. Why can it not be that? You know what I mean? And I think that's, there's something joyous in maybe looking at it that way. And I mean, I also wanted to take a moment to kind of like think about this person who, until 96 years old, he was 96, actually was creating these things, right?
Right.
Not to be an Instagram sensation, not to be, I don't know, the next big thing, but as a matter of course for himself, right? Like it's kind of like a journal of his own life, but it's also for other people. I feel like, to me, it shows what you can do. It actually makes it very concrete. Maybe for people who are thinking about being artists or who are artists who think like, okay, why am I doing this?
Right.
What is the point of this? If nobody, if there's a tree in the forest and it falls down, there's no one to hear it, does it make a sound? Why am I doing this, right? What is the point, right? And to me, I've come kind of full circle, and the point is like the joy of doing it, right? And I know it sounds kind of trite to say that, right? But at the same time, I think that without creating, I had a child, and I've been now, I would say about 5 years without really creating anything serious. I miss it. And there's kind of like a lack in my life, and I was wondering about what that is, right? I mean, creating a child is an amazing thing in and of itself, but I also realized that for her, I want to go back to it because I want her to see her mom happy, right? And doing the things that give my life meaning. So my daughter can see me doing stuff that has meaning for me, and therefore kind of learn that, hey, it's really important to do things with meaning.
Yeah, it's just I think we have a need to as people to feel significant, that what we do is significant, and to fiddling around with this thing here, trying to get us trying to get it to do what I want it to do, and it's not. To get us to I think we have a need to make an impact. At least some of us do, to make an impact on the world, and to get our voice heard, and to get that significance. And I think artists really play a very important role in our society, because we have the ability to speak out and to express ourselves, but in expressing ourselves, we're expressing the voices of a lot of other people who maybe don't have the ability to articulate it. They don't have the ability to make films or to write screenplays or to write stories or make music or create art. And artists we're almost like society's representatives in a way, just going out there and we're the ones. I mean, if some people's art gets discovered maybe centuries after a society has long since fallen, and the art might get dug up, and they'll say, "Oh, we know from this art that these people did this, that, the other," because we know it from the artists. We don't know it from the non-artists. We know it from the artists. Thank you very much. So.
Right, but I think that's true. But I also think that one of the things that I find amazing about him is that basically he showed that art can be anything. So even if you don't have access to a camera, you can take a pen and make a drawing or write a story. My 5-year-old daughter, she came home the other day and she made, within 15 minutes, she made a little flip book of a tiger, and she made an entire narrative around it, right? Which I thought was incredible, right? And to me, like, the important thing, I guess, I don't know why, but it's like coming around full circle. It's like, it's almost to forget. Like, it's almost doing good art, and I feel like when I've made really amazing work, I forget time and space. It's like you go into this zone, right? And I feel like more people should have access to this in very simple ways, I guess. That's what I'm kind of trying to impart, right? And it's like the spirit of, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter whether it's a one-line story. You can write you can do it. It's anything. It can be anything. You know what I mean? You can get on YouTube and sing a little ditty, make it up as you go along, and that's art too.
My dog has fleas.
Right? And
is that art? That was art.
Perhaps.
Something that you said, it made me stop to think, too, about how there are a lot of artists and creative people who get addicted to alcohol and drugs, which surprises me because I feel that being an artist, being creative, is my drug. And I don't know why I would turn to anything else. When I get this turn on from playing music or from writing or even doing the Indy art show, a work of art. Oh, yes, work of art. For me, art is a drug. But so I don't know. That's just something that just crossed my mind with what you were saying just now.
Well, you know what? But I think that there's different. Again, there's different people with different backgrounds and circumstances.
Yeah, definitely,
right?
definitely. And I do have this theory. I think it is harder to be an artist in our society than not, in our STEM-oriented society. You know.
Well, that's a whole other discussion, right?
Yes,
I mean,
it is. Yeah.
Because it's also, I mean, you know.
But I mean, I just think that stress is what leads some artists to develop mental health issues or addictions and things like that.
Fair enough, but there's also artists who just, who have them, and it's actually a debilitating thing. So have you seen, there's a film called Frank that's actually really amazing.
Frank.
That talks about a musician who has a disorder where he cannot go out or be seen without a mask. So he has this huge, it's an actual based on a true story. He's an amazing musician, independent musician, and he has a band. He's really amazing. And he's got this big head that he made out of cardboard. And he
I know lots of musicians with big heads, actually.
Well, so do I, but this is different.
Well, anyway, it sounds like social anxiety that he had. Social
right, but
anxiety.
like a very, very hardcore.
Social anxiety.
But this is a very hardcore version. Like he cannot. I mean, this is really hardcore. Like
I was at a point in my life when I could have done that. Yeah, I would have felt more, and I still feel that way. You know,
Right.
I kind of feel like if I had worn something over my head,
right, but
I'd
you
be better off
didn't,
today.
and he did.
I know. Why? Why did I not make that
Anyway,
choice?
I
It
don't
would have made the
know.
indie art show so much more
I
interesting.
don't know. It could
today.
be funnier.
No.
But anyway, I would like to get back to.
Did you want to show this other video?
Yeah, give
this
me one second.
Is it? Do I have the right one queued up?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
But give me
All right.
1 second,
Okay.
okay? So, outside of that, I just
1
wanted,
second is over. Okay, go ahead.
I just wanted to kind of bring it back to Jonas Mekas because, so outside of all of these kinds of like very public accomplishments that he had, he was also very, very willing until the end to help. Okay.
Yeah. Keep going.
Okay. To
Yeah.
help people,
Yeah.
including filmmakers. He was very accessible to filmmakers, right?
Yes.
In terms of giving them advice about their films, right? He also got arrested for screening a banned film in New York City in the 60s.
For screening a bad film?
A banned film.
A banned film?
Yes.
Why did he get arrested for that?
Because the film was ruled to be in violation of New York City's obscenity laws.
Oh.
And it was illegal for him to screen it. So he and Ken Jacobs they were charged. Okay. And basically he and Susan Sontag then mounted a critical defense of the film called Flaming Creatures by Jack Smith.
Flaming Creatures. I'll have to look that one up.
So
Flaming
it's a really
Creatures.
amazing film. It's really wild. I mean, they also screened it at a festival in Brussels at the time, and the programmer came and unplugged the projector because it was a banned film.
Now, what was it? Were they swearing? Were there naked people? What was
Naked
it?
people. It was,
Naked people.
Jack Smith was, I believe, a homosexual who made an amazing film. It's a really wild film.
Wait, I take it these were unattractive naked people. Is that why it was obscene? I mean,
No,
they were
it was-
attractive naked people.
They were naked.
It's just naked people is not something.
I mean,
that people wanted to see.
according to, I've seen it,
So-
and I don't have any issues with it. But according to Wiki, it had the depictions of sexuality were offensive
Okay.
to people of the time. So
All right. Okay.
right. So he basically with Susan Sontag defended it.
Okay.
They
yeah.
screened it in a festival in Brussels, and the programmer unplugged it, and they ran and plugged it back in and started projecting it on the guy's face while he was clearing the theater and saying that anyone who was going to remain in the theater and watch the film was going to be arrested.
Oh, wow.
Right? So I think
Okay.
this is amazing. I think that he also gave a lot of good advice. I did an interview with him. He told me about a film that I will show an excerpt of next that's called Dada Changed My Life, which, by the way, screened at Anthology Film Archives. 2 of my films screened there, which...
So Dada changed my life. Dada, D-A-D-A,
Yes.
changed my life.
Like the art movement, right?
Okay.
And so 2 films screened there. He was really amazing about it. I went with him. It was a film about... we squatted the Cabaret Voltaire in Zurich, which was the original cabaret where the art movement Dada started, by Hugo Ball and Emmy Hennings. And we basically created kind of like surrealist Dada art there. We had one that was called The Too Late Show, where it was just a bunch of people going on stage and doing whatever they wanted at the time, which was really wild.
Okay.
And so a friend and I made a documentary about it that was a half mockumentary and sent it to festivals. And there were festivals that would not take it. And I was kind of dejected at the time because I thought, okay, my film sucks. Nobody really likes it, whatever, right? So I showed it to him, and I went to him, and he said, the way this works is that the programmers receive all these films, and they kind of put them together, and they make a program. And if your film doesn't fit into whatever categories are there, they're not going to choose your film. It doesn't mean your film's bad or not valuable. It doesn't fit, right? And for me, that was kind of revelatory, right? Because I thought, okay, there's value to what I'm doing. Someone is, right? Because you do need a bit of encouragement.
Yeah,
Someone is
sure.
saying, it is valuable. Look, we have a place here. We have a special place for things like this that don't fit, right? Maybe you're a square peg, a round peg that's trying to go in a square hole.
Yeah, right.
And here we have a place where you can fit, right? I mean, he's actually gave my partner shot a film in the basement of Anthology Film Archives. So he gave it to him for free to shoot there. So he was constantly doing things like that. He was publishing, one of the last things he did is he published a poet, an Italian poet, a woman that he didn't even know, whose work he thought was amazing. So he actually worked to get her published. And I mean, the man is like in his 90s and he's doing this, right? So he's an amazing person, right? He's not just an amazing artist because it's not just about him. He's an amazing person. And so I kind of wanted to meditate on that, right?
Okay.
And think about what he has given us.
And when did he die?
He died January 23rd.
January 23rd.
So about
okay.
2 weeks ago, right?
Okay.
And I also wanted, let's show the excerpt of the film because it works.
Okay,
right
how many
here.
minutes did you want to show of it?
So it is...
Because there's about 8 minutes of it.
Yes, so 21:15 to 23:17.
23. Okay. Maybe what we could do is show it on our next episode,
That's
or
fine.
would you want to just show part of it?
No, that's fine.
Okay, because we only have about 3 minutes left of the show.
Damn.
Now, is this a show? I know, I told you it goes by fast. I
Okay.
warned you. This is a film that you made?
So yes, this is one of the 2 films that screened at Anthology.
And what is it called?
It is called Dada Changed My Life.
Dada Changed My Life. Okay. Can you maybe talk a little bit about the Dada movement, what it was for our millions of
Yes.
viewers out there who may not have heard of what Dada is?
Yes, of course. So Dada was an art movement that simultaneously started all over Europe. First starting in Zurich, there was a New York branch. I believe there was one in Brussels too, and there was one in Germany. And it was an anti-art movement.
Oh, an anti-art movement.
Yes. And so for instance, punk then comes out of it. It's very influenced by Dada.
Huh, okay.
And it was basically a bunch of the people who started it fought in World War I and were disgusted with the situation, to say the least, the war, what it was fought for, the things that happened, and decided that the problem was society's ideas about the world, and decided to create this anti-art movement.
Anti-art.
Right. So
And
the
by
reason-
anti-art, you mean that they were against art, or do you mean that they were just like trying to establish a new form of art?
They were against a certain type of art that was very conventional within,
pro-status quo.
yes, within certain limitations, right? Very classical in a certain way, right? And that's kind of why I wanted to show the excerpt, because the excerpt will give you an idea of the art itself, because
Okay.
it's a poem. The excerpt is a poem by one of the people who started Dada. His name was Tristan Tzara.
Okay.
Okay, and
And what we'll do is, keep talking. I'm sorry. We
no,
have
it's okay.
another minute left of the show.
okay.
We will show this excerpt of Olga's film, Olga's wondrous film, because Olga is a phenomenal filmmaker. She and her hubby are both amazing filmmakers. And so what we will do is on our next episode, we're going to show an excerpt from that wondrous film, Dada Changed My Life, and we're going to talk a little bit more about Jonas Mekas and his influence on filmmaking in New York City and internationally, right?
That's true.
We will talk about that in our next episode. Olga, do you want to tell our viewers how they can find out about you? Do you have a website,
Yes.
Facebook? What you got?
So I have a website, and it's www.z, like the letter Z, collective.com.
Z. So Z Collective, one word, no hyphen.
Exactly.
zcollective.com. Do you also have like any social media like Facebook or Instagram or anything?
I have some Instagram, but it's personal. My Instagram is personal. It's mostly my daughter's.
Okay, thank you so much for being on the show.